Right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital. This is nightly strategy podcast for May 8th, 2024. Start with the 30-minute hybrid swing portfolio. So we're starting with Alcoa, 30-minute charts. Here was yesterday's close, gap opening, monkeyed around, but I started getting higher lows. 1, 2, 3 entry, standard risk. It ran up, rolled over, basically scored a fraction. The sell-off continued. This is a 1, 2, 3 on the downside. It's below the VWAP. So I get short here. It sells off. Here's where the R10 bottoms out. I take the exit at the skin of the dragon. So that saves 0.5. So some grinding in Alcoa today. AI gap down and continued to sell off. So it gapped to here, ran up, and then sold off. New low of the day, below the 5-day anchored VWAP. So I treat that as a line in the sand. It sold off, came back to here, closed, opened. I took the exit at the VWAP. That's about 0.5. It basically went sideways all day. No further re-entries. That gave back a lot. Should have done better with that gift. That was wasteful. Cat, standard morning hook here. So big gapper. So here's the close. Gaps down to here, sells off, reverses back up. It moves one standard risk box off the bottom, and it held support at the 10-day anchored VWAP and the 5-day anchored VWAP. And you see when the 5 crosses the 10, that means that the recent price action has been favorable. Here's the 3-day anchored VWAP. So this thing has been bullish. So this gap down from here should be seen as a buy on dip opportunity. It's on sale. And when it immediately reverses and makes a new high of the day, it feels like it wants to close the gap. So I enter standard risk. It runs up and then just kind of hovers here. Now, this is where the R10 bottoms out. And then when this rolls over and comes back to the edge of the dragon there, I decide to exit that and capture about 2R. This is one where it just failure to follow through. It's supposed to keep going like that, but it just goes sideways. Now, the afternoon little burst was nice. I didn't get it, but because I exited here. But that shows some more strength for tomorrow. So Caterpillar, I will have a long side bias on that tomorrow. Cliff, no trade, was a gap down and then went nowhere. CVS, no trade. DIA, this was a 1, 2, 3 this morning, right? So here's the close yesterday. Here's the gap open and the quick sell-off in first bar, second bar, third bar opens here and takes out the high of bar 2. So that's a 1, 2, 3 entry. That's the standard size risk box for DIA. It runs up. I wouldn't be offended if you took this exit. You'd have to take a re-entry either here or here to be consistent. I held it. It recovered. And we're getting near the end of the day. I took the skin of the dragon exit here. About 1.5. Disney, no trade, pure sideways. Devon Energy, I missed the morning hook, so this is one where it closed here yesterday and then gapped all the way down here, sold off, and then rocketed all the way up. I missed that move. When this all rolled over, you have downward pressure based on the PSAR, this downward sloping dragon. When it breaks below the VWAP, which is right here, I took that short with a standard risk. It sold hard. It came right back to the same price level here. So I took like a 1, 2, 3 exit at the skin of the dragon, but I think there was a better exit in here. That brought home 1R. But energy is definitely in play. Emerging markets, huge gap down. This is that common discussion we've had with EEM. Here was the close. That's the overnight trade that sold off. Now, if you have that kind of gap and you put a quick R10 bracket on that, you end up getting this trade, which you would love. I didn't get it. I had span of control issues. And then it basically just chopped sideways all day. So where it closed yesterday really was the fair value. This was the anomaly. Ethereum, the currency was available for that sell-off trade. This is Mexico. This was a standard feature of the day. It closed here, opens way down here. That first bar makes a nice upward move. The second bar, I just take that as a morning hook. Standard size risk box of about 25 cents. It runs straight up. The price rolls over here. The R10 rolls over here. So as soon as the R10 rolls over, I raise my stop to the edge of the dragon, and the exit is here. And that one cashed 2R. AWW is a trader. Brazil, same trade, 2R. Home Depot, no trade. Intel, this was a gap down and then sell off, and it just gave us about 0.5 quick grind. Intel is just in all kinds of pain. IP, this was that morning hook. It was a grind all day, but the risk box is so small that gave us a couple R without even much fanfare. IYR, this was a gap down and fail. So here was the gap down, and it continued to sell off. Short, standard risk, sold off to here, came back up, covered. Again, I gave back too much of that move, I think. So this gained like 0.2. This rolled over at the edge here of the Bollinger Band main. It rejected that, came back through the 30-day and 3-day anchored VWAPs. So that's starting to fail. So short. I'm hoping it's going to come down to here. It gets halfway, then reverses. So I take the skin of the dragon for 0.5. Coke, gap and go, 1R. KRE, this was a morning hook. Here was the close yesterday. Here's the big gap down and sell off. 1, 2, 3 entry. Standard risk. And I have to get out before the end of the day. 3R. That's regional banks, KRE. McDonald's, morning hook for half an hour. 3M, morning hook for half an hour. I thought about the re-entry here on the Kata 2, didn't take it, and it exploded north. So there's more room for that thing to go tomorrow. Merck. This was a gap up, ran all the way up, ran all the way down, continued to sell off, came below the VWAP. So I tried short with a standard risk box there of about 30 cents. And that sold off all day. And when the R10 reversed, felt like it wasn't going nowhere, so we captured 1R. Microsoft, morning hook. Here was the close. Here was the gap open, rapid sell off and recovery. New high of the day, so I get long. It's on the favorable side of the VWAP. There's a standard risk box. Up it goes, stalls. I take the exit at the Bollinger Band mean. This is supposed to go. When it doesn't, I take the skin of the dragon and the Bollinger Band mean there is the 1R. Marijuana morning hook for half an hour. Nike fractional morning hook. Nvidia. This was a delayed morning hook. I missed the first one. Here was the gap down and it ran up and then sold all the way back down to the support level and then started resuming. So I tried it and then nothing. So I just scratched and said Nvidia was not moving today. Clean energy. Morning hook, fractional gain. Palantir, no trade. Rivian, morning hook, 4R on that one. So big gap down, rapid sell off, comes up, makes a new high of the day. That's the standard size risk box in Palantir. And it runs straight up, comes back to the skin of the dragon. I take it for 1, 2, 3, 4R. Very nice move. And all it did was, this was the extreme move. And you can see it was a stretch away from the Bollinger Band main and the 5-day, 10-day, 30-day anchored VWAPs. That's the anomaly. So as soon as that starts recovering, it's just retracing back to fair value. So SOUN, morning hook, the usual. Take the exit at the skin of the dragon, capture that. That's 1R. The S&P was sideways choppy, as was Treasuries. Last minute weakness on it. Tesla, morning hook for an R. Walmart, I tried the gap and go in the morning. It collapsed back to here for a scratch. The weakness continued, so I speculated short. As soon as it went underneath the VWAP and the skin of the dragon, I got short, and this was a slow grind down. Never really collapsed, but there was no buying interest. It has still held above this gap, so as long as it's above, say, 60 and a quarter, I have a long side bias, but there was a little recovery to the downside today for an R. US Steel, couple scratches. Energy, I'm starting to look. I added XL, B, E, F, and K so we can see what the sectors are doing. You can see that morning hook and energy that we got in Devon played out in XLE, and that had that nice. That's the same move that Devon gave us. So it was available in the entire energy sector. Finance, which has been very strong as a sector, I finally added it to us. It gave us a morning hook and reversal. So when the R10 reversed and it takes out the previous bar's high, Just give it a try. Tight risk, moves very orderly. And the important thing is that it closed above the RL10 peak. So this is a very favorable sign. That was a candidate to hold overnight, but since that's the first trade in XLF, I just cashed and took 2R. Industrials, a fraction on the first morning hook, caught a 2, gave us a little over an R. That was very healthy. Technology, morning hook gave us 2R, again in the usual way. That's the same move as the Microsoft trade. This is the sniper trade of the day. So this is EWW. Here was yesterday's close. Here's the sell-off. That's like the OR3. I was waiting for the 30-minute mark. This crossed back above the VWAP, so I tried this long from here. Was hoping to get back to the Bollinger Band mean or yesterday's close, which was near the VWAP. Those are my those 3 right there are my targets. It failed right away, so I took half an R loss. It held support, and when it crossed back above the VWAP, no, I'm sorry, this was a stop and reverse because that failed. This scratched. When it continued up and hit the PSAR, I took that long with a standard risk. So just to clarify, clean that up. So this effort long failed for half an hour. That's stop and reverse. It comes back, I scratch, wait and see. It hits the PSAR and it flips. So I take the risk box and go long. By the time it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, my stop had better be above my entry. So that, if that's my entry, so that I can lock in this gain. That's a no lose plus dinner for 2 position. Now that it's done this, I'm still hoping to see it get to here, that previous close, and also the yesterday's VWAP. Here's where the R10 rolled over. So when that fails, I take the skin of the dragon exit I got filled here. So that gives us about 1R from this entry to that exit against that much risk. That's about 1R. Check or hold? The R10 reverses. You know, the R10 comes down through here, holds support, crosses back through the dragon, which is this orange shape, right? So now what I have is a Kata 2. I had a successful trade. I have the last belly of the RL10 down here, and now the new belly of the RL10. So successful Kata, successful SSC trade, rising lows. I'm north of the VWAP. The Bollinger Band mean is there. RL10 has crossed the dragon. If I waited to see the peak of the R10 break, like if I'm waiting to enter up in here, that would be an emerging dragon pattern. This one is a Kata 2 pattern. Same size wrist box. Up we go. As long as this R10 slope is up, I can use the PSAR as my exit. Once this price starts chopping sideways, then the R10 rolls over. I should be taking the exit here at the skin of the dragon. When I hit that, I get filled here, and it's just the PSAR exit, which gives us on that much risk, 1, 2, 2.5. So that's 2.5. This one is 1.0. This one is minus 0.5. So we're at about +3 for the day so far to here. Check or hold. This is a Kata 2 reentry. Almost an emerging dragon, pattern, because it's so close to the peak of that R10. I'd probably call that a ED, but what I think of it as a Kata 2 because the R10 is higher. I had a successful trade. It quickly reversed. The R10 reversed. I can enter as soon as it gets the price or the R10 gets across that dragon. Either one doesn't matter. Standard risk. I have 3 R of markets money as a cushion anyway, and just take a PSAR exit for another R. Now it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, so I speculate short. And I want you to notice that the RL30 rolled over too. So now this is an owl entry. Successful trade, but now the R30 has rolled over. The RL10 has come through the dragon. The dragon has rolled over. The R30 rolls over. This is an owl entry short. What I like is the fact that it's the first time we've seen it on the far side of the SMA 30. And now my target is to come back to the VWAP because it's 2 p.m. This is going to act like a big magnet. And if I have this much risk, and that's my target, I'm looking for about a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Check or hold. It comes down halfway, and then finally the R10 reverses. I'm getting close to the end of the day, so we just cash another one. So this is a total of about 4R. Let's take a look at the traders. Here's Brian. He's trading the British pound, US dollar on 5 minutes. Look how nice and orderly this thing trades all day. That's why he's trading it. It gives very clear signals, smooth turning points, and tradable lengths. The lengths of those moves are tradable. He notices that the correct entry point should have been here because that's a 1, 2, 3 entry after a PSAR flip. And the MACD signal is entering his little purple river. So in retrospect, that's where he's supposed to enter. He gets the second entry. That's a late Kata 2. So if he had had that one short with a standard risk of about that, he might have even thought about a second position because this was making a new low. But he didn't have to do that because he didn't take that first trade here. So he takes this one. There's his risk box. It rolls over. He takes the PSAR for a fraction. He might have, and now the PSAR flips right here. He might have taken the entry here. He gets it here after it crosses the Bollinger Band mean. Standard risk to the bottom of the PSAR. Rolls up, takes the dragon skin exit for 1R. I would probably have tried this one here with a standard risk. and ended up scratching and then probably shorting here because now the RL30 rolled over and the Dragon rolled over. That would be the owl entry short and would pay off. This is a new one for him. He's trying gold spot versus the dollar. That's Constantine's favorite. That's on the 5 minute. Here's where it breaks through the Bollinger Band mean. That's a possible short. When it leaves the Z3 pinch, that's a possible short. That's also where the MACD signal line breaks through the 0 line. That's the beginning of winter. That's a massive short signal. And a standard exit would have been here. With that standard risk, that would have been one, at least 2R. He does get this one as the SSC on a 1, 2, 3 here and cashes it for 3.5. Nice. So that could have been 8. Let's see. Hamad grinding too much in Cliff. This one, it's not a mover. You're trying to make it work. Yeah, I guess a Z3 pinch. If you were ever going to try one in here, that's a good place to try it. It doesn't work. The same logic would have you stop and reverse here, which pays off. So when a Z3 pinch fails, that's a reversal. I would say the same thing here. When that fails, that's a reversal, and that would pay you. Way too much grinding. Take a look at EWW. It's a mover. It's moving every day. Take a look at the currency pairs that Brian is trading. They move every day. EWW moves every day. That's maybe the easiest way to find the movers is trade things that always move. Give that a try. Disney chopping around here. Trade the movers. This is nice. EWW. Yes, thank you. Trade more of this and not those other ones. You know this thing moves. That's good work. That's the re-entry, as you note, which would make the day positive for you. All right, this is Jonathan. This is also EWW. Tries the OR3 breakdown. Takes a 1R loss. That should be a reversal instead of this, although I accept that as a 1, 2, 3. That's a quick cut. This is where you must get long. When that reverses here, you have a low, a higher low. The Dragon is turned. The RL30 is turned. That's an owl entry. That is a low risk entry. And you would, instead of getting long here, you get that extra piece, which is an extra 1R. Good exit, good re-entry, good second position. I take it all right here instead of splitting that. I like the effort. Good quick cut. I would stop and reverse there. When that does not get back to the Bollinger Band mean, that move there is an affirmative signal that the long side trend is working. So you can get long here, although that's still pretty good. This would also be good because the R10 reversed. So I like either one of those entries. That's not bad. Bad fill. I think you could re-enter here instead of here. Good exit. Good try. Good try. 1 point. I think this should have been around 2 if you play this a little better here and here. George, brilliant stuff here. This was his continuation short from PBW because he had that nice cushion. On that big gap down and harsh sell-off, I hate giving back that much. At this point here, you had almost 4R in hand. So give back half of that. I like that you didn't chase. That's pretty good. Not sure what else you were busy on today, but that burned you 3 more times because this is the logical stop and reverse like you're supposed to. And same one here. This should stop and reverse right here. That pays you. Kevin trading EWW brings in 0.8 on the, this is on the 3-minute. Yeah, he had a morning meetings and that cost him that trade, but he gets quick cut. Oh no, he tries that short because he's in a hurry. Wait for it to get across the Bollinger Band mean and the VWAP. That would save you 0.6. He gets in here, cuts it, re-enters here, great re-entry. Gets paid. That one pays for all of that portion around. So this re-entry and then that one, that's where he's making money during the day. Oh, he took half a position here and half there. Being busy has a opportunity cost. We know that, but that's good work. And this is on 30-minute. He's able to just organize that into a 1.8. So very good combination play today. He used the 10-minute to get in early because he saw the entry developing on the 30-minute. He flipped down to the 10-minute, and that's where the entry actually occurred. And then he's able to play that smoothly all the way up. Very nice work. And what I like about that exit here is that it's rolling over right where all the resistance is. So since that doesn't blast straight through, don't stick around and collect all of the pay for that. That's good work. Looking at the 30-day look back. So this is, the 30-day look back. This is the 30-day low, 30-day high. See that nice Kata 2 action? That was a Kata 2 signal. We've pushed back very close to the all-time high. Today's range was pretty narrow. It closed near the top of the daily range. That's very favorable. We're on the north side of the Bollinger Band mean. That's good. All of the VWAPs, the anchored VWAPs are all shaping up. The RL30 has rolled over. The RL10 is in the spring, getting ready to go to summer. We're very close to breaking through the 0 line to become summer. This is all good. Very favorable. And finance, energy, tech, all of those were showing very favorable signs. Still bullish volatile, strength everywhere, risk on for volatility. That's all in good shape. Sorry. Weakness in Intel persisting, but strength in JP Morgan and Coke and Texas Instruments and United Health. Plenty of symbols favorably set up for the auto framer, and Intel is a 10-1. I mean, we got to respect Intel as a 10-1, even though it's just been getting brutalized unmercifully. Are they going to zero? Probably not. And today was a doji. So that means it's been a harsh sell-off and a range compression today. And if you go to the 10-day high, there is 9 of today's daily ranges, almost 10-1 reward to risk ratio. And then if it fails, you have an automatic short. So I'm ready to buy Intel above today's high because there's a 9-1 favorable reward to risk ratio. That's an automatic entry for me. That is what swing trading one day at a time looks like. What's the second best one? Disney at 5-1. I like it. In the ETFs, it was kind of a quiet day. The only positive energy here was in DIA. That was an extra reason to hold it. You know, the intraday trade, you were wondering why I held on to that. Because that's a sign of relative strength. Just a handful of auto framers here. Energy is one of them. Oil and XLE energy. Lots of auto framers to choose from. Lots of squeezes because today's range was so narrow. There's a ton of good reward to risk ratios in here. I mean, you got mid caps, SPY, and small caps. You have real estate and tech, treasuries, the Qs, and McDonald's. Tomorrow's going to be a popcorn popping day. It's going to go. Still being dominated by spring and summer. A handful of weaknesses. A few notable strengths. The Dow and Finance, the European 350. DIA, my friends. Should be trading that. Coke and JP Morgan, Boeing, IBM, American Express, Cisco, and Techland. Find the anomalies. That's where the unusual large price behavior is happening. I have us back in the green emotional bias here. The Z-score of the RL30 has reversed, has re-entered the yellow zone. The R10 is beginning to strongly move. The RL90 Z-score is getting ready to try to do that. That's all favorable. And then just on a pure price action, you have a CATA 2, and it's back to the top of the river. And it's pushing very hard to break out to all-time highs. So that's as bullish as you can get. All right, we'll get this published and posted, and we'll get them tomorrow. Take good care.